Hello and welcome back to July ranked draft number 14 with me, Mike. We're 14, so we're about somewhere around halfway through the July drafts. Sorry for the major delay getting everything done. I've put a lot on my plate and unfortunately not been able to finish everything as quickly as I was hoping. But we're gonna plow on through. So yeah, draft number 14. We're about halfway through. As anybody who's been following along knows, we've been in a little bit of a slump and just kind of like grinding through mid platinum hell. So pack one, pick one here. Galvanic Discharge and Party Thrasher are the cards that immediately stand out to me. Horrific Assault also very good. Basking Brood-Scale is fine. Disciple of Freyleys, Proud Pack Rhino, and Cranial Ram are all fine, but probably one of these two red cards. Yeah, they're both good. Anyway, so we are in the middle of a bit of a skid. We've just kind of been like 3-3, 2-3, 4-3. You know, like this just very mediocre streak for a good like 5 or 6 drafts or so. And yeah, it's been tough to try to get out of this skid. We will turn a corner eventually. Yeah, I know we do, but it's been disheartening. And unfortunately, when you go on skids like this, so 2 Fang Flames in a row to follow up this discharge, by the way. Very nice. Good start. I will absolutely grab all of this premium removal right off the bat and figure out where I want to be momentarily. But sometimes when you go on these losing streaks, you know, whether they're because you're drawing poorly or playing poorly or getting bad matchups, it doesn't really matter what the cause is. In this case, it's a combination of everything. We've played bad, we've drafted mediocre decks, we've gotten bad matchups where our opponents draw well. All the things happen. Sometimes what can happen is you get in the mental state where you don't think you're going to win or that you can win. And once you get yourself in that position, you'll make more mistakes and sometimes not even realize it because you're already in the headspace that you're going to lose. And sometimes you just need to take a break. 4th pick, Galvanic Discharge. So yeah, we have no creatures and don't care at all. 2 Galvanic Discharge, 2 Fang Flames. We're very happy about this. Yeah, sometimes you're gonna take those L's and maybe take a few days off. I know I put date codes in all of the videos for the date that they were recorded, and I tend to, on the days that I have time, record several drafts back to back to back to back, and then, you know, take a few days to myself, spend some time with my family, or, you know, spend some time getting more work done or editing or any number of a bunch of things that I've like put on myself. And yeah, so we'll continue to do that. We're recording July drafts, like we're doing the audio recording for the July drafts, and we're already in September. I will not have any Bloomborough drafts on the channel. I skipped Bloomborough completely, personally. Bloomborough was not a set that excited me particularly. And again, I've just been so far behind. I will be trying to do a run with Duskmourn when that comes out. You know, a bronze to mythic or gold to mythic, wherever my account winds up by the time Duskmourn comes out, we'll try to get a run done. So we're finally forced to pick a second color card here. Mandibular Kite is fine. A Cursed Marauder would also be pretty okay, but it's not like we're lacking on removal with 2 Discharge, 2 Fanged Flames, and a Skoa. This might be the first time I ever actually feel like I might cast Mog Mob, so let's grab that and see what happens. But yeah, I will be trying to do a Duskmorn run, and I will be trying to record the audio when I do the drafts so that I don't run into this problem that I'm having right now of having to go back through it. A lot of the recording that I did for the Modern Horizons drafts, my kids were running around in the background, and the audio quality of the video is just not acceptable to try to post. Pick 10 Hex Gold Slith. So, seems like being in Boros is the correct choice. Wheeling the Hex Gold Slith this late. Pretty good indicator that I can get into the Boros deck. I don't know what's happening with me timing out here. Okay. We have a Nyxborn Hydra instead of a Hex Gold Slith. I don't know what happened. I guess I kind of have to assume that something distracted me, but I don't know what at the time. I don't recall. Okay, so I'm not going to play this Meteoric Mace. I probably wouldn't play the Solstice Jailer either for what it's worth, so we're basically down a Hex Gold Slith and have a Hydra instead. I don't know that that's really going to matter, but that's okay. Okay, but yeah, so we'll be trying to do Duskmorn when that comes out, and we'll be doing the audio commentary live rather than after the fact, so a little less guessing what past self did after the fact, or, arguing with myself, a little more thought process the moment of, which I think can be quite helpful. And yeah, it's just a process, and we'll figure it out. It should mean I get less drafts done, probably, because I have less time where I'm going to have access to recording in a quiet place. 5-year-old twins will do that to you. But so here we have 6, which is a very good card. We also have Stump Stomp if we just want to stay pseudo mono red. Yeah, I'm not. Okay. Yeah, I mean, 6 is very good. I don't know that that's where we want to be. Reiterating Bolt out of this pack. The Ironworks could also be good. Though, again, we don't have a lot of creatures so far. Right now we can just kind of kill everything. But we don't have much by way of creatures. This pack is not great for us. Dog Umbra is okay, but I'm not even sure that we want to be playing the white now that we have 6 plus a Hydra. The landscape is off color. This could just be the Molten Gatekeeper, but we already have 2 of those. I don't know. It at least keeps us on a plan. Alright, this pack is trash. Thriving Skyclaw is the only card that we're gonna play. We could just take the Ugin's Labyrinth for the sake of, having one less Mythic to craft if we ever bother playing constructed formats. But, yeah, Thriving Skyclaw, keep taking the red cards. So, moving on, Sundering Eruption is good. Static Prison is obviously good as well, but... do we really have the creature? So Sundering Eruption is a good card for when you need to get in the last points of damage, when you just have to get that last attack in and close out the game. But that does rely on having been able to attack kind of at all. And this deck is not very good at that, at least not yet. We've got about a half a pick of this pack and then pack 3 to pick up more aggressive creatures. The Reckless Pyrosurfer isn't bad. Wormcoil Larva is very, very good, but we'll take the Reckless Pyrosurfer here, an on-color 2-drop. Rush of Inspiration versus Molten Gatekeeper number 4, and then there's a Mandibular Kite. Cursed Wombat is, we're not trying to... We don't have the synergies for it, and we're not trying to splash a color, especially not just for a Wombat. Yeah. Second Mandibular Kite is fine. There's the Stump Stomp, or a Stump Stomp, pick 8, which, if we're seeing this one pick 8, we might actually wheel the other one, which would be really cool. Yeah, there you go. So we took the 6 over the Stump Stomp, and I wasn't even sure that was correct, but obviously if we're going to wheel the Stump Stomp, then it certainly feels pretty correct. Fledgling Dragon is not what we're looking for, although I guess another Molten Gatekeeper also isn't really what we're looking for, but here we go. Many, many Gatekeeper. Maybe we can get that ping damage. Just grab the Angel and throw it in the sideboard, I guess. Alright, or the Elk. Throw that in the sideboard either way. Uncommon for Vault Progress. Remember, folks, always get your Vault Progress when you're not getting any picks that you can use. Okay, yeah. Void Pouncer, we're never kicking this thing. We have no colorless mana in the deck. But we might need the 2-drop. We'll see. And Lethal Throwdown. Sure. Alright. Pack 3. We have another Reckless Pyrosurfer, which is nice. Dog Umbra, Basking Brood-Scale. I'm pretty sure this is just a Pyrosurfer. I'm not sure we're playing green. I'm not sure we're playing white. I am sure that we're playing red. And, there's a non-zero chance that we're mono-red or mono-red splashing a couple cards and the Mog Mob somehow becomes playable. But, yeah, it seems almost no chance that we're playing black. And I say almost because, we're not really committed to a second color, so if somehow we get past some ridiculous black rare here in pack 3, we could pretty easily just play it. This pack has the Phyrexian Ironworks as kind of the only thing that we'd be even a little excited to touch on. Yeah, it's got to be the Ironworks here, right? No? Hydra? Hydra number 2 over Ironworks? I don't know that I love that. Yeah, okay. Alright, so yeah, Ironworks, got it, wonderful. So we can have the 3rd Stump Stomp, we can have the Revitalizing Repast if we decide that we want to splash the green. We can, obviously take this Eldrazi Repurposer if we would like to. I think if we're grabbing green cards here, then, okay, Stump Stomp stays red at least. There's an Emperor of Bones, so remember I said something about potentially getting, some off-color rares that might make us want to play it. Emperor of Bones is certainly around the power level that we would want to have as a splash, but with no other ways that I can see of triggering it, we don't have a way to put an additional +1/+1 counter on it. I think the second Hydra would be better than the Inspired Inventor if we were trying to play green, but if we're trying to just play white, then the Inventor is fine. This is a very late Horrific Assault, though. Though I don't know that we need much more by way of removal either. We already have 2 Discharge, 2 Fanged Flames, Reiterating Bolt, triple Stump Stomp. And then, yeah, the Skoa all the way on the top end. Yeah. Okay. So if we grab this Conduit Goblin, we basically just get rid of the green cards at this point, right? Siege Smash is fine. I don't know that we really need that, but it's not the worst thing to have. Stump Stomp, obviously, a little bit worse in the Boros decks, just because your creatures tend to be a little bit smaller. Sure, uncommon for Vault Progress, whatever. Second Conduit Goblin, okay. So I think we're pretty firmly then in Boros, and yeah, potentially Boros splashing 6. We do have triple Stump Stomp as modal dual-faced cards that can access it. With like before having even the first forest, we have 3 green sources in the deck that let us play the 6. So that would be the first time I think that I've tried to put some kind of a value splash into my Boros decks, but yeah, I can't think of another one. I've put like Pyretic Rebirth into Gruul decks before, or Orzhov decks, but yeah, I don't think I've ever had the like aggressively slanted Boros deck with a splash, but looks like that's where we're headed. We could again also just cut the 6 and just be a like mediocre Boros deck, and I only say mediocre because we just don't have the 2-drops or the energy package. Whatever happened with the timeout and losing access to that Hexgold Slith, certainly I think affected both this deck and the rest of the draft, because the person we were passing to saw a Hexgold Slith that late and very easily could have assumed the same thing that I did, that, you know, the white cards were coming around and were going to be open. So, all right. Sundering Eruption, modal dual-faced card. Stomp Stomp, dual-faced card. We don't want or need these Meteoric Maces. We don't really want this Void Pouncer. 6 is only going to make it if we really need it to. We're going to trim down on Forest no matter what. I do want the Ironworks. It's just a value churn for us, because we should be attacking in this deck. And if we're not attacking, we're probably losing, and the Ironworks is not going to help us either way. Yeah. Mace out. Just too much mana. We don't want to be casting a 6-drop. We don't want to be paying 4 to equip. We just don't have the mana sitting around to do that. We have 4 modal dual-faced cards, so... okay, 16, 17, 19 mana sources, 18 mana sources with 4 modal dual-faced cards. I like that. That seems fine. 15 lands, 4 modal dual-faced cards is fine by me. You know, you want to have... when you have the modal dual-faced cards, especially when several of them are tapped, I find that you want to have more than 17 mana sources. Yeah, okay. So let's just stop messing around with this 6, and we'll just play a mediocre Boros deck. Cut the forest, add a plains back. That gives us... we are light on white sources. Especially all 4 of our modal dual-faced cards are red. So we are trimming the Mog, which is unfortunate. I kind of wanted to get that guy in here. I've never actually played with it. But that's okay. So what do we have? 2, 4, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 creatures proper plus 2 kites. Probably cut one of these Inventor's Axes. Probably the last cut. I think it's the weakest thing we have. We want to keep all of our creatures. Thraben Charm is too versatile to try to cut. 13 creatures is a little on the low end. 9, 10, 11. Yeah, 13 creatures is on the low end. And I think this is going to be the problem with this deck. We don't necessarily have the ability to sustain a board presence, like a couple removal spells, or like hands like this, right? Like, we have all of this interaction, we have all of this removal, discharge, Fang Flames, Reiterating Bolt. Like, we're not going to get run over, but we're also not applying any pressure. The first creature we're casting is a 4-mana 3/2. So, and that's assuming we draw lands. If we don't draw lands, then, you know, obviously we're just kind of dying. So, yeah, this deck might run into some problems with a very low creature count. And maybe I need to take that into consideration and trim a couple more spells in favor of some more creatures. Alright, we need a white source and we can hit a 3-drop. We have discharge. Sure. Well, I guess we should have had the Mog in the deck. We could have cast it. Oh well. That's a very aggressive Gravedigg. Just get a Grizzly Bear? Like, I don't know. Okay. We're gonna kill the Soul Trader immediately. I don't think we care about this zombie. Yeah. So any land off the top lets us Skyclaw. And yeah, that's fine. There you go. All right, so we haven't drawn a white source, but we have drawn our lands. We are hitting our 3rd mana on curve, our 4th mana on curve, and we still have a bunch of red cards in our hand that we can play. So, as not great of a start as this hand was, it's not terrible either. Opponent seemingly on mono black thus far, and just taking a moment. Okay, so Rakdos from our opponent, but no card worth playing. All right, so this is probably the last land we actually want to draw. Maybe one more over the course of the game if we find Skoa. But we did keep a 2-lander, and we've hit through turn 5. Which is less than ideal, but it is what it is. So we attack here. The question is do we use our energy? And I think the answer is no. Not because we don't want to grow our thing, but more because our opponent is a Rakdos deck that hasn't needed to use a removal spell and passed the turn with 3 of 4 mana up. It sounds to me like Breathe Your Last. So I think we'd rather save our energy. We do have this Reiterating Bolt, which at this point can just go 3 creatures wide, which is really cool. Spend all of our energy on it and just 9 damage divided across three creatures if we want, or divided across creatures if we want. We still have the Inventor's Axe. Okay. Simulacrum's a little annoying. I would prefer not to trade, thank you. So, very likely that our opponent does, in fact, have a way of killing whatever we target here. So I think we just want to put it on the Inventor. Okay. Or not. We just put it on the thing that is, in fact, a threat. Fanged Flames on the Simulacrum before they have red mana up to use it. If that Sarpadian Simulacrum was the only way they had to actually remove a thing, then suddenly this Skyclaw is looking like it's going to try to get the job done. We're still going to decline. Again, our opponent still had... Yeah, okay. Our opponent still had a whole pile of mana open. Removal going after the Skyclaw is... And even though the Flare didn't technically target it, it was going after the Skyclaw. Removal like that is why I said a moment ago I think we should have targeted the Inspired Inventor with the Inventor's Axe. Turns out both of our creatures were going to die in a turn cycle, but we would have gotten an extra 2 points of damage in that turn, which isn't nothing. It's not any incredible amount, but it's not nothing either. I don't think we want to use our Flames or our Reiterating Bolt on any of these creatures. I also don't necessarily want to equip the Inventor's Axe only to have the Gatekeeper get shot and then not be able to do anything later. I would, if our opponent ever taps out, I'd rather use my energy that turn, just to make sure that the axe gets a hit in. All right, so yeah, easy. Fanged Flames, get rid of this Gargantua. So we could Pyro Surfer here if we wanted to, but yeah, I don't necessarily see that as mattering. So they don't have mana up this turn, so equipping this turn and making sure that our energy is spent to get damage in or kill a zombie, either or, is fine. Okay. This is certainly going to hurt. We're taking 6 here. If they don't have a follow-up, we're pretty okay. Eviscerator's Insight kind of stings, but it is what it is. Alright, nope. Don't play the land yet. You have a Pyro Surfer, fool. Alright. Oh well. I think I realized that after the fact. Yeah. So, we could... Yep. There we go. We figured it out. So yeah, we could have gone Unearth Gatekeeper, play Pyro Surfer, trigger, shoot them to 10, Reiterating Bolt down their board, equip the axe, trigger landfall on Pyro Surfer, attack for 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we could have put them to 3 here. So we basically lost 4 points of damage because we didn't Gatekeeper first and because we didn't landfall after that. But okay, opponent with another kill spell. Very sad for me. We're also down to 1 energy, so we can't use the Inventor's Axe. We're going to hang on to this Gatekeeper for a minute. Oh, that's terrible. Opponent just has a million mana. They have 9 mana, so yeah. They get to activate, end step, put me to 4, gain 2, attack me for 1. If they draw a land, they can double activate and end the game. If they don't draw a land, they still activate and put me to 1. So, okay. Yeah, we missed a couple points of damage, but it wouldn't have won us the game. And that Kami that late when opponent has 9 mana in play is terrible. Terrible for us. Okay, this hand a little land heavy, but a much better curve this time around. So, yeah. Kite into Conduit Goblin into Inspired Inventor, probably. And then we can Pyro Surfer plus Landfall to give the Inventor and Servo. So, yeah, I think this is Inventor this turn. Okay. If we want to get Yeah, I like that. Now the goblin can survive. We get to push here. They can trade their inventor for our inventor, I guess. But so Pyro Surfer, we could have been looking to get the servo down and get the battle cry across the servo as well. But the conduit goblin surviving the combat here, I think, is more relevant. So the +1/+1 counter, yeah. Now they're having to use a reiterating bolt. Paying energy to kill my germ is, not the best, but fine. So here's a Pyro Surfer and an axe, and get in for 4. Battle Cry obviously doesn't matter because we don't have any extra creatures. We don't need these lands necessarily. I think maybe we should play 1 mountain and hold the last one. And the only reason to play one of them at all is so that if we draw Skoa, we can just go land Skoa whenever we draw it. But until then, we're just going to try to clock with this Pyro Surfer. We have a kite that we can slide over to give flying. This is the least scary Scurry of Gremlins I've ever seen. Unfortunately, we can't play the new kite and equip the old one. Because we only have the 1 white source, and I think it's more valuable to equip and get this damage in. And yeah, so we did play the 1 mountain. I think it's right to hold this last mountain. If we draw a white source next turn, then we have lethal. We can play the new kite and equip it to the Pyro Surfer. That's fine. Sure. Sure. We'll take 3. Okay, so this, unless they have a way... Okay, we'll put them to 1 instead of killing them, I guess. Maybe I didn't see it. Maybe I missed this line. But yeah, we with the second white source, we had the ability to play the kite and then move it over to the Pyro Surfer and attack for exactly 6. Looks like 2 flying threats is going to be good enough regardless. So we'll take that one. Better start. We had 1 into 2 into 3, and then things to do for the rest of the game. So much better start than the previous game. All right, we are playing against the Insect King himself. Herself? Insect Queen? Is Chris the guy or girl? Somebody tell me. I don't actually know. I don't follow the lore like that. Anyway, we're playing against Bugs. Good old Oogie Boogie himself. Okay, Conduit Goblin on 2. Kind of always where you want to be with the Boros deck. Conduit Goblin on 2 into giving your 3-drop haste is a pretty standard start. Alright, we found another land, so I think we just want to get this thing out of the way, but I'm not... Like, we could play Pyro Surfer, but if we were going to do that, we should have held the land for a second. Yeah. All of our removal in hand is unfortunately 2 mana. We do have the Sundering Eruption that we can play as a land, so we still have Pyro Surfer plus land drop next turn if we want it. We can also play the Thriving Skyclaw next turn. Yeah, alright. Okay, so just no attacks because we don't want to trade. We do have double kill spell next turn. But I don't know. That's a really conservative line. I'm not super big on, but oh well. Alright, so Fang Flames, get this thing out of here. It's going to trigger. There's nothing I can do about that. Then, sure. Sundering Eruption as a land. Nope. Okay. So if we're not going to Sundering Eruption as a land, are we just not attacking any again? This is just a Tempest Harvester holding off 2 attacks. I think I'm playing way too conservatively here. We could have Sundering Eruption as a land, Stump Stomp to get that Harvester out of the way, and gotten in for 6 points of damage this turn. Sure, now they have a 3/3 instead. And what? Yeah. Well, we get to give it haste at least. So we're in the air. Use energy. Yep. Okay. Could be worse. They're going to copy crook our Skyclaw, though. At least I assume they're going to copy crook our Skyclaw. Yep. Yep. Alright. And that's the blue-black modal dual-faced card. Okay, so I think we have landfall, we have that. I think at this point we just need to like trade off some stuff. No, we don't have the energy. They get to trade with whatever they want, and they still have a 3/3 left to our 2/2. Yeah, everything's bad. I think we should have killed that Harvester way earlier and gotten damage across. There's no good attacks here. We can offer the trade with our Skyclaw for their Skyclaw just to get some energy for the Ironworks. Yeah, we can do this, which is an option we had last turn as well. We should have the battle cry this turn. Alright, so yeah. Okay, so we're choosing not to offer the trade with the Skyclaw. They can, yep, block here, and then they're just like, they still have a 3/3, so our Pyro Surfer is there, but like we didn't actually remove anything this way. Not sure what exactly we're waiting for with the Skyclaw. Like, if we're not trading, I'm not sure how we're getting through here. That said, we're also not in great shape. Like, Sundering Eruption, not very good when opponent has a flying blocker that's holding us back. It does stop the elk and anything else on the ground, but we're not getting... sure, I guess. It's a better draw than most things. Ideally, obviously, we draw removal here, but... Yeah, so this thing also gets to connive. This can just be an attack for 8 here, kind of out of nowhere. And it is. And suddenly, like, opposing Skyclaw is a real, actual scary threat. Alright, so here's my guy, here's my attack, here's my energy. And go? Yeah. So now they get +2 on the Skyclaw, pay 3 energy, and connive. So it was 8, this time it's 10 potentially. I think at that point we're probably chumping with the Germ and then trying to slide over this Mandibular Kite. Okay. This is a lethal attack now. Okay, this is a lethal attack. We are dead. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, a little too timid in the first couple turns of the game. We needed to be more aggressive. We needed to sequence our plays a little bit better. We ended the game holding that Sundering Eruption because we played a Stump Stomp as a land on a turn where we could have played the Sundering Eruption as a land and used the Stump Stomp to push damage through. And I think that kind of the way that game played out shows why you need to be more aggressive in these Boros decks. If you're too passive, your opponents are going to have bigger threats than what you have access to, just by nature of the way the Boros deck tends to come together. And yeah, that game was a good showcase of why you need to be more aggressive. So, bad job, me. I messed that game up. But it's okay. It is what it is. Hardcast Flare of Cultivation. So, opponent just getting off the board with a lot of mana here. Forest Plains, so they are an Abzan deck, it looks like. I think... So we can get second Conduit Goblin down here, give it haste, and just get in for... decline that one, take action here, in for 5, and then Galvanic Discharge whatever they play. Yeah, discharge that. We have extra energy, so let's just get this out of here before they get a chance to do anything with it. Pay 5, boop. And now we have Ironworks to get down. We don't want to use this energy. We want to build it up. In for 4. And now next turn we should be able to Inspired Inventor plus have Reiterating Bolt X2 if we need it. 3 if we attack first. So we have up to 9 damage that we can throw at creatures, but having kept our opponent's board clear so far, you know, this is the kind of aggressive start that I meant, where we're aggressively clearing our opponent's things. All right, fair enough. Toxic Deluge for 2, pretty good. So let's get this Inspired Inventor down. Reiterating Bolt, I think, is a sorcery, unfortunately. So, yeah, make some energy, make a golem. Normally on a board like this, I would have wanted to make a servo, just have more bodies in play. But in this case, because the energy converts straight into a 3/3, I think it's better to make the energy. Basically, we're upgrading the servo to a golem by making 3 energy. We have the Stump Stomp and the Reiterating Bolt to potentially clear anything our opponent does. If we get to attack next turn, we get to make another golem. 3, 6, 7. Okay, well, we no longer have golems or get to make more golems. All right, so opponent has played Toxic Deluge and Wrath of the Skies, so that stinks. You know, it's hard enough to play a round 1 sweeper in Limited, and the second one is usually going to wind up being backbreaking. Here's my 2/3, I guess. Very unfortunate. Deluge cleared, Goblin, and then the Wrath of the Skies cleared. My source of advantage in the Ironworks and the creatures that I had in play. That's a little tough. Okay. The good news is you can't persist a token. The bad news is I now have to contend with a string of 2/2s. Yeah, that doesn't do what I want it to do. This might have to be Reiterating Bolt, the Gargoyle, it persists, and then Stump Stomp the Nantuku itself, so that I don't have to worry about it. That does leave me in a position where this territory color is coming down, and I don't really have anything to say about it. But I think we need to just not get overwhelmed by the Springheart Nantuku here. We don't have any good attacks here. We can block for a minute, but that's it. Territory color coming down again. Landfall. Well, it didn't immediately go into their hand. However, they left it on top. Sure. So, 5 ball coming across with a giant number the following turn, or this turn. So we're just dead, right? 5, 12. Thraben Charm has no text. Gatekeeper can't block. This is lethal. So yeah, just like that, Wrath, kill your spot removal and dudes, and there we go. That's it. Yeah, I said I didn't think this deck was great. I didn't think it was like 1-3 bad either. So that's just unfortunately the way the games go sometimes. We had the one game where we needed to be more aggressive and weren't, and that's on us. We did that. We had that game where we just got double wrathed out of the game. Yeah, it is what it is. I don't really know what much to say about this deck. This deck was fine, not great. A little light on the creature count. We could have used maybe 2 more creatures. Potentially trimming like an axe and I don't even know what. All of our removal is very, very good. So maybe an axe for like 1 more creature. Pseudo think about the Phyrexian Ironworks as a creature. But regardless, we just didn't quite get there. The one game where we came out aggressive and were swinging early and often and killing blockers, we won. The game where we tried to be patient, we lost because we can't afford to be that patient. And yeah, we lost to a couple rats in the last game and rebuying a territorial color, which that thing just 7 power. If you can keep the board clear opposing, the game ends incredibly quickly. So good beats. It is what it is. Thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you in number 15. I think we're closing into the tail end of this skid, and after that we're going to take a couple days. In July we will have taken a couple days off and kind of refreshed our brain a little bit, and we're going to make that last push. Like I said, we're about halfway through now, but yeah, we make a real hard push coming up here in a minute where we stop making so many mistakes, I hope, and get this done. So thanks everybody for joining me. We'll see you in the next one.